Mm, they go leaner instead. I mean, this is something that Q used to play, but it's definitely not a support leaner meta. I was just thinking something that naturally builds into the Orchid, right? Like we saw Q do it last game on his Monkey King that enabled them to start so many team fights really effectively. But, Ember Spirit, you get onto the Bane, you use all of your abilities, you can still look to Nightmare and try and escape a little bit. So it felt like they might have a little trouble there. Also, if it's a mid leaner into the Mars, you can often find yourself on the wrong side of the arena and actually not be doing any damage with your right click. Not crazy about it. I mean, they banned out again a lot of the heroes that Mamang Dai likes to play. The Kunkka is gone, and I was wondering when this PL came out. I was like, are they going to try and Deucer them? Just trying to get rid of things that are
Dragon Knight.
very favorable against that want to build the Diffusal Blade and are very favorable in that kind of matchup because they do have a decent way to deal with all of those illusions. There's a lot of AoE damage coming out just through Earth Spike. The Mana
Dire
Drain
team
gets rid of
pick.
them instantly. Of course,
Grim
Lena able to deal with them.
strength.
There's the
Radiant
soft
team
counter
ban.
to the Pangolier. They're actually going Ursa instead. Okay, strong lane against the Mars, good against the Dragon Knight as well. Once it gets to the later stages. The downside is, though, that you can sometimes get kited around in these team fights quite effectively, although it's not like Ursa's going to be next to too many targets.
10
So I feel
seconds
like
remaining.
you've kind of put them in a bit of a rough spot on Motivate
5
because you want to
seconds
kill the
remaining.
Bane and the Grimstroke at the start of all of these team fights. And in order to kill the Grimstroke, I feel like you'll need the
Dire
Rolling Thunder,
team
and if
ban.
that's the case, then you can just leech them together and
Radiant
then run
team
away.
ban.
So four staffs are at a premium right now for Neon and Motivate actually, just to be able to snap the Soulbind.
I like the Ursa pick. I think you've kind of enabled the bear from being picked up just because you've gone for a win condition with Fearless. You now have you don't want to have
10
two
seconds
greedy
remaining.
position one and position twos that need a lot more farm versus someone who
5 seconds remaining.
he can't scale into the late game like we see quite often on Jackie's heroes like a Terrorblade, for example, Wraith King last game as well. So now going for the leaner at least puts the
Dire
win
team
condition
back.
more on Fearless's back and gives Jackie the role of kind of dealing with the Mars DK and also opening up the Roche pit for them.
Radiant team pick.
I just want to see what they pick on Motivate with their last overall. They're they're lacking a little bit, like outside of the Pangolier, right? Of course, Rolling Thunder is a great team fight ability, but they've got two ways to address it. So I feel like they just need some other way to try and
10
get in onto
seconds
those
remaining.
backlines, and they're lacking it a little bit. The Dawnbreaker is still in the pool.
5 seconds
Not sure if
remaining.
they would want to play it on Motivate's lineup. Masteros is known to have a unique hero pool, but Storm Spirit's gone. It's
Dire
not a
team
terrible
pick.
QoP game. Now it is.
Back into the Palace Doom. Okay.
Oh,
I believe it's the Palace Doom unless you can
yeah,
see anything else being flexed.
seems pretty standard. So how are you
Well,
going to be able to bully this? And do you
10
even
seconds remaining.
could we see a Massaros Ursa as well? Like
5
Ursa into Doom
seconds
isn't that bad of a
remaining.
lane.
it's not. And especially when you're going this greedy, like Palace, you pick a position one Doom because you know he's going to have a good lane and get a good Midas. Like that's the big
Hmm.
reason why you do it.
Or if it's against, like we saw previously, against a Darkseer and you just really
Yeah.
want that lane, but they've
Yeah.
banned it out.
I think if you go down a support route, I want a way to protect whoever's doomed, say by healing or someone who can itemize for a 4-staff, because Lion, you really want to blink. Pango can't really, I think he needs initiation as well if he's played as a support. So if they go support, I'd like some way to have like a stun in the lane for the Ursa, or at least some way to disengage out of a fight and kind of prevent that doom. It's not going to be easy because Neon have a lot of control though.
I want to see a Spectre and I want this Ursa to be off lane.
Okay.
That I still feel like they're lacking a way to get it on the backlines because Pango is it. And you've got two ways to be able to stop that now with the Grimstroke and the Bane. And anyone that looks to just walk up and join, they're going to get doomed.
Clockwork.
Choose your
3
hero.
Pango?
One
I
clockwork.
mean, it's another way to get on the backlines at least. That's a plus. But they're going to be building 4 staffs just to be able to get away and kite out this. Oh, he's got the Alpine Ursa set.
Okay, so it's a Q clockwork.
Yeah.
How How we feeling?
I like Q Clockwork. It's good. You can somewhat bully Doom a little bit. I mean, it's given me that extra layer of backline initiation that I was really wanting, right? So you can look to connect through your combos together with someone like Set Zero and Fearless is just incredibly effective. I feel like Masros is going to be playing a lot more of the farming style this game. So, you joining in on a smoke gank doesn't really result in too much of anything. So he's just constantly wanting to shove in these lanes, put pressure on the towers, maybe force some unideal rotations come through from Neon to defend these towers, and then it's going to be up to Q Fearless and Set Zero to burst down these heroes in quick fashion.
Oh, do we feel like Neon are able to take this second game, or can Motivate take their first series of the last eight groups 2-0?
I think Neon definitely have the draft to be able to do it. I feel like they've answered the Pango. I feel like as long as you get the 4 staffs, you're not that worried about the clockwork. At the end of the day, we can talk all we want about the draft, but it will come down to the positioning, right? Like you can't have these key heroes like the Doom, for example. We saw a couple of times Natsumi previously in the previous series that were just caught out on their own for no reason in particular, right? So that just shouldn't be happening. You should always be around the rest of your team. The vision game is going to be incredibly important against this lineup, again, like Motivate, that loves to go for these early pickoffs, especially when a pickoff lineup with an Ursa that can very easily just transition it into Roche.
I guess it does, one favorable thing is the fact that Motivate are on Dire, so naturally how they're going to play is a little bit more away from Roshan, but if you ever force an engagement towards like Radiant's triangle, then like you said, you can always lead that team fight into the Roshan, which could give a big advantage for Motivate just to have the extra life versus kind of the cooldown dependency.
They found Mangdaya.
Lead in. Fearless just finds the range, and this should be our first blood. Again, it's a question of who finds the kill. It'll be Set Zero.
And they'll get the D ward most likely.
And a lot of gold here for the Lion. That's pretty much halfway to his booties, even more once the bounties are completed.
Easy game for Set Zero.
Love and life. So, the last pick we were kind of highlighting.
No,
like,
don't buy more regen. Come on.
Just what I've been.
Sentry and a Self. Okay. And Set Zero is like, all right, you know what? I'm still closer to my boots than I was previously, but I'm also gonna help out my my Jackie Ursa. I mean, Jackie did not come out with a lot of regen, only 3 tangos, and they feel like they're in a lane that's going to be quite brawly, and against Amar's Grimstroke, I see no reason why it won't be. Still might have some contention.
The battle begins.
Rebound
Might
is
be 3 for 1, yeah. Also, Mamang Dire Dragon Knight. Haven't seen much of that either. So I feel like maybe they're trying to experiment a little bit here. Not sure if this is the time to do it though. Again, they need at least one win to, put Nigma Galaxy on a bit of a pressure timer, right? Where they need to also match that. And they haven't been looking incredibly impressive so far, Nigma Galaxy. So you want to put them under as much pressure as you can, because you would hate to, put in a relatively solid performance all throughout the Pro Series and then go into the threat of just being eliminated in the first round of the lower bracket come playoff time.
What's going on right now? Set Zero in UK, what are you guys doing? Set Zero's using no spells.
They're just going for the ward battle. UK wants to try and remove some of that that observer ward that's there.
Don't know. You got full mana.
I mean, you're happy with this as UK, right?
Oh.
Give him the Zuck.
Gish got faster movement speed. Set Zero's on the wrong side of the map now.
He can TP away.
Can.
I mean, I feel like you're okay with this as well, just keeping Bane away from the lane as well, right?
So, yeah, they're looking to try lane early versus Jackie. I mean, leaving Palos solo, I feel like any position 1 Doom, you're going to be okay in a 1v1.
Yeah,
it gives you solo experience to get closer to the Devour maxed out. Meanwhile, top, and what is going on in the river? Set Zero. Is this a party?
What creeps?
Who needs creeps? Let's just get kills, UK. Oh, goddamn Bane. How do you trade versus hero?
You don't.
And now Jackie's picking up. Creeps, mine.
Yeah, my creeps. I mean, you only really need 2 points in the brain stuff, right? To just get insane value out of it. It's Nightmare, this game, that UK needs to be playing a lot more around. his positioning to be able to nullify the impact of having a leaner come in. That extra cast range going to be incredibly important, making sure that you're not the one getting caught out at the start of all of these engagements. So we'll see how he's able to do with his farm. Again, it's going to be on cue, a lot of this, the start of all of these team fights. So if he's able to get the hook shot on the right target where they don't have 4-staff, it's going to be a big victory for Motivate, really enabling them to, like you said before, have Masaros in particular able to come through and actually have an impact with his Rolling Thunder.
Well, because Masaros is going to be in a pretty free farming lane, I suppose. I mean, just 1v1, I think he should be fine. How do you feel like this is going to enable the Motivate draft? Did they really need the Pango to have a good game?
I mean, they need him to have a good game, but it's going to be based off of how his teammates perform, not so much on how he does in lane. I feel like you're much more happier on Neon's side with how this bottom lane has turned out, right? Like Doom on his own, getting all of that solo experience, faster levels in Devour, just so much more bonus gold that you're able to use.
Looks like we're still holding with our tri-lane. So we've rarely seen any tri-lanes throughout the past couple of months, but already today we've had 2 at the moment. Looks like for Radiant it's working out quite in their favor. I mean, they've got the creepy Equilibrium. There's still the small camp for Dire to play with. And Radiant won't have the hard up and available. But
for me, Grimstroke's one of the best tri-laners in the entire game, just because, you know, everything about your spell just gets stronger the more units there are around. So that plus multiple setups, eventually they're going to make the TP rotation come through from set 0. Don't believe it was scouted out,
yeah,
although
Palace
he's
is going to be cautious. He should be dead here. I've got 2 points up in the shield crash, and set 0 just going to find the kill. So got a salve as well to refresh. I was thinking Masaros might actually go into a bottle if he was solo in this lane, but at the moment he's still holding some of his gold.
So UK eventually, 3.5 minutes later, makes the rotation back and finally gets that Observer Ward in the mid lane. Still level 1, by the way.
He's just giving all this solo experience to Enryu.
Denied.
Still, do you want to see UK mirror this movement down bottom? Now that we saw the rotation from set 0's line?
I feel like it's okay, but now you're still at that experience disadvantage, right? You're coming up against a level 3 line. He's only level 2, so you're not going to get the good value out of the Brain Sap. It is important to make sure that Palace doesn't just die again, right? He just TP'd back to lane. It's so important that he's able to get that Midas up, get it on cooldown. Even if he dies again after the first Midas, as long as you've just got the gold running, it feels kind of okay. And Ryu, he's having a pretty good time up on this top side, just with the assistance of that Grimstroke, building himself up a little bit of a net worth lead here over the Ursa.
Yeah. I mean, we saw what Neon were doing really early on the lane. I mean, Enryu had 0 mana pretty much a minute in. They just recognized that we're going to play this lane as spammy as possible. Just try and shove out the Ursa, who's very weak throughout the early levels. You know, now this is when Jackie can start to have a little bit more, you know, impact. You know, I guess, you know, thrive in a lane like this versus a melee hero. But, you know, Neon recognized how, you know, at least their power spike, and they used it well.
Yeah, I mean, Clockwork is definitely a lot happier now with how the lane is versus how it was, right? Clockwork plus 3 heroes feels a bit weird. You know, you're not going to get great value out of the cogs. You can just very quickly break someone out. Battery Assault, you're going to be splitting the damage a lot as opposed to just getting it dedicated to one person. But now that it's
Doom down bot, Palace.
Oh.
He ate the catapult wave to just get that last little experience required, and beautiful first use of the Doom, and this should right about give him enough gold for the Midas as well.
Nicely done.
Meanwhile, mid as well, they've got to be cautious. Setzer is already setting up nearby to try and protect the tower against the catapult wave and the Elder Dragon form. They might look to turn it back around. Laguna Blade at the ready. UK, he's waiting for that Nightmare. In fact, Fearless just going to drop it on the Bane.
What a punk.
Really nicely done there by Fearless. Helped out by the Observer Ward up on the high ground, so scouting out all that movement coming out from UK. So not the impact that you would probably want coming out from a Bane super early on into the game. You know, basically the only thing it feels like he's done so far is get that 1D ward off in next to the tier 1 tower. Other than that, not too many kills set up because of him.
Thinking about making a dive attempt on Enryu, but this is a bit too deep. Unfortunately for them, Jackie's lane is starting to get a little bit better. So his levels are picked up.
You've been burned.
So we've seen Palos play the Doom as a position 1 twice now. What do you feel like the gameplay is, you know, in comparison to a 3 Doom to a position 1? Is there anything really different?
Not really, to be honest. It's just a lot more of the farm priority given over to you. You still want to be that beefy frontliner. You're just going to get your timings probably like a minute or two sooner, really.
No items you would expect different here from position 1 Doom?
Not that I can really see, just jumping out at me. I mean, what did he go last time? I'm pretty sure it was just
really
the
stock standard, yeah.
Yeah.
It was really just stock standard. That's what we've kind of seen quite often here when the Doom position 1's been picked up. I mean, it's just going to be the you good old Midas phase, you blink BKB, refresher at some stage if it feels like he needs a Shivas, whatever utility he needs, but yeah, there's nothing really that we see quite often switched up from the position 1's Dooms. Like you were saying, it just gives you your power spike a little bit faster. Top, they're trying to set up on Enryu. He does have level 6, so I don't think he's going to be able to use this to his advantage. As Jackie can jump inside the cogs. A bit cool to find Setsuru even gets a long range Earth Spike, but they're going to be a bit cautious of how long they stick around, as you know, all of Dire about half health to play with. But this is
Maybe eventually Palace will go into something like a Shivas. Might be alright this game. Just as another Doom, by the way. Speaking of Palace on the bottom side, Masros, he's been connected up with it again, trying to juke his way back and forth through the trees.
No.
Not going to be enough. He just wants the tower to try and take it, but
Wow.
net worth continues to grow.
Honestly, I mean, 2 Dooms like that, the conversion rate, not what I would really expect from Palos. He doesn't even have boots too, just finally picked up, but level 9, top of the net worth. Jackie as well is in trouble. Enrage, Earthshock used, no escape for the arena. A big first use of that ultimate from Enryu. They should now be able to get firm control of this top lane. Complete 180 from what we saw in the lanes. It was all Motivate in game 1 throughout the lanes. Now it's looking to be all Neon.
Yeah, I think they've been playing this quite well. I mean, the counterpoint is that actually, I think that was with an illusion that they were able to get that kill onto the mid tower, and UK and Mamang Dire, they're looking to try and take him out, but no stuns left on Mamang Dire.
Oh, nice sidestep. Shouldn't really matter, but Jackie...
Well, even getting the bottle refill as well. How often do you see the POS 1 doing that?
Wait, what's going on up here? Enryu? You're a long way from home, long way from creeps and anything on the map. And it puts Masros up top, I suppose. Maybe they're just looking to swap the lane. Wait, can Jackie go bot? There's a level 9 Doom? I feel like you just zone him out whenever you have Scorched Earth.
Potentially. I mean, the lane's kind of pushed in, so I think he just wants some of that free experience, considering he spent a lot of the time in a tri lane. So he wants to try and catch up with that solo experience as much as possible. Has to be careful about knowing the Doom timing, though. Wonder if they're being very vocal about that in the team chat.
So it's going to be worrying signs that Palace is just completely free farming. He's about 2,100 gold ahead of the highest on Motivate.
It's big timing, though. You picked up the tome on Q's Clockwork. Enables you to have a lot more of that backline presence as well. Who's going to look to stick around, soak up some of this experience, and then maybe go for a smoke here alongside Setsuru and maybe even Fearless. I think he might want to prioritize going for the, Boots of Travel, but nope, never mind. They're going to look to loop around and maybe get an easier kill. I don't think you can kill Mamang Dire just yet. It needs to be something...
I do not like this move at all. I don't know why you're going top when you're not going to take an objective. I think you need map control, and if you don't get in tower shortly, then Radiant are just going to start to occupy the map. Like, you have to open it up for Alina and Ursa. Like, this is a smoke for a Grimstroke. Like, what does this provide you? I don't think you're ever going to think about getting T1 top. Like, to me, that just...
Well, look at what's happening as well. On the other side, this is a much better move in my eyes. Mars is already bottom. You've got Doom roaming around, trying to take away a little bit of where Ursa's trying to farm. They're looking to eventually converge in onto him. Not sure if they'll have enough time to do it, though. Maybe just trying to bait out some TPs to defend this bottom tier 1 tower. As it's going to come, it's just going to be the Lion, though.
Nice Rose. Try and charge up the Rolling Thunder on Palos, but just way too deep. Another kind of misuse of the abilities there in Motivate. They're really getting pulled across the map here, as like we just saw Setsuru TP down bottom, try and keep the tower alive with how weak it is. It's just, I'm really impressed with how Neon have been playing this laning stage.
For sure. Palace always seems to get great value out of the Doom there. You can see he's going into the BKB. His job is basically just be that that Mack truck basically on the front lines. Just have that Scorched Earth going, constantly run at the back lines with the BKB enabled, and how are they going to stop you? Like, it needs to be an Ursa focusing you
Blink
down.
reveal, Mimang Dire. This top outpost, a nice smoke, is Dire not in the area to try and keep the Pango alive. Meanwhile, top lane, they are on top of Palace, however. Fearless combined with Q. Now that is a big kill to find, considering the net worth that Palace has had. They're still
That's a
going to be
much better
cautious, though. So if they drop a ward behind the tower, Mimang Dire is actually just going to lead in, trying to get his own vision. This is space, though. Jackie's roaching at the moment. Not sure how weak that is, as once again, they're going to try and look to jump one of the supports. Clockwork, just space. They're more than happy with the clock dying here if they can pick up Roshan, and yeah, Jackie should be able to. Level 8 Ursa.
All right. I mean, that's certainly a way to come back into things. Even Masteros just TPing completely away from a lot of this early aggression. Fearless going to join him, but we've got the rotation in response to it here. This is Palace without having used the Doom. See you later,
might give him the
Masteros.
opportunity.
Oh, never mind.
Soulbind has to play around with the Rolling Thunder to give some space, but just goes straight into the Lina. We're not giving enough path away for Fearless to get out to safety. Able to TP in. UK lands the Fiend's Grip. The rest have died too late to keep Masteros alive, so a double core pickoff. And Mimang Dire is hunting for more as well. They should transition this into a tower.
Yeah, not too much duration left on the Corrosive Breath, unfortunately, which is the only thing that might look to hold them back. I mean, Ursa's still only level 9. He did get that nice solo Roshan experience, but looks like Motivate want to put a decent amount of effort to make sure that their tier 1 tower doesn't drop on the bottom side of the map. Actually, even just going for the deny. Any sort of way to get some additional gold for Jackie. He just wants to grab it right now because he is far behind where he would like to be when you're considering the lane that he had against the Mars.
What a bounty!
Could we see Dire maybe going for their next smoke by the Diffusal Blade timing on Jackie? Or could it be a bit earlier?
It could be a bit earlier, but I mean, you're so close to it, right? I think it's just going to depend on being able to sit behind him for now. That's what Setsura's job is, just babysitting him, making sure he doesn't die before that timing. But you got to balance it out, right? Doom is only a minute or so away, so the fact that that's also a consideration, I mean, they're going to need to be really quick on the item checking as well, because that's the BKB finish for Palace as well, so you can't jump on him with the Diffusal Blade. It needs to be someone with more value, like Enryu. So let's see what the scouting is going to be like once he's able to pick up this key item on Jackie.
Yeah, they are not easy heroes to kill at all on Neon. I mean, you got a 1900 health Doom with a bunch of armor with BKB.
Oh, UK, great smoke pop.
Oh, Q's actually still going to hookshot him forward. Even though he pops the smoke, they'll get the kill nonetheless on the Bane simultaneously. Mimang Dire looking to try and find the opener on Masteros, but the rest of the team a little bit shy, considering Enryu has built into the armlet, so that will further enable the tank ability. And yeah, lastly, Mimang Dire, he's also 2,000 health, so they're goddamn beefy on Radiant. They're going to look to try and jump the Pangoli. Arena has to be committed. With Palace showing up, there's no way that Q can provide some assistance.
Well, Brave probably didn't need to die either. Could have turned around, nightmared him, and then tried to get out of the cogs. But it's something that, you know, just happens again. It's a position 5, doesn't mean that much at this stage of the game. Still has that Fiend's Grip threat, and they're going to be looking around for Jackie. He's just farming in the mid lane right now, going for the long wraparound. So what are we looking to build up onto on Hustler? Okay, just going the very standard build into the Aether Lens. I think it's fine. Again, for me, it's the supports that are making this game right now for Neon. You know, as long as their positioning is good, they're not getting caught out by the initial engagement by Q as well as Masteros, the team fights are going to go in their favor almost every single time.
And it's felt like that's always been the case for them when we've seen them had their victory so far through the group stages. It's been Hustler, it's been UK to focus on. UK is going to be perfect this time. Nightmare just sets up for a beautiful double LSA. Masteros trying to roll on forward. Palace has had enough time to pop the BKB and out to safety. Now with the extra rotations Motivate, do they feel like they have a window to take the team fight? A 1-for-1 to start. Jackie is going to try and deal with a second support. Hustler gone. Keep in mind they still have the Aegis. On top of the backline, Q's able to deal with the help of Mimang Dire. Now Enview is split up from the Doom. They can overwhelm Neon under the tower. And this is that fight that Motivate were waiting for.
Okay, not opting to drop the Doom there. He did have a couple of seconds left on that Soulbind Doom with the Pangolier plus the Ursa. I can understand not wanting to use it into the Aegis, but I feel like it would have been worth it if it was able to take out Masaros as well and maybe have Mars ready to fight Jackie properly for the second life rather than on very small HP. So bit of a win coming through there from Motivate.Trust, being able to catch out the right targets.
That's a pretty big net worth swing as well. I think it was about 4,000 gold. Now it's just 1k.
Or it's more for me about the experience, right? Like, it was very heavily in Neon's favor, of course, because of the Midas and Doom just being in this solo lane for quite a while and having a winning job at it, but it's actually evened out and it's even a little bit more in Motivate's favor now because of that. So a lot of these key levels coming out, particularly for Fearless. He's now opened up a 2-level lead over Mamang Daya.
I think there has to be concern, though, for Motivate how they play this next minute. There's a lot of momentum in their favor. Neon can definitely stem that with this blink reveal from the Doom. If you get a huge team fight, because it does still feel like their ultimates are easy to execute. So Motivate have to be perfect throughout the next couple of minutes. But if they can kind of withstand this, take next Roshan, then that's always, as an Ursa lineup, when you feel the happiest, when you can get that second Rosh at a pretty early timing.
Absolutely. And, well, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but, at least he's going to very soon, actually now, Jackie has the tools to be able to get in onto the backlines with that Blink Dagger finished up after the Diffusal Blades. So who's he going to be able to catch out? Set Zero has a Blink as well for himself. Good positioning as well by Hustler, although he'll be spotted out. That should be a fairly easy kill that they're able to pick up there, unless...
Should be the double blink reveal as well from Jackie and Set Zero. So now we'll more than likely see the Neon support's posture respectively throughout these fights. More than likely reveal there's a ward in the lane.
Not necessarily.
I wasn't watching the start. I thought they
was just farming the lane. It's fine.
Okay. Alright, what's moving?
Now they need to change things up a little bit, right? Because you can see it's a double Aether lens on the Neon support. So going for a very greedy style of build, and it's worked for them up until now. You can see UK, he's got the 4-star queued up. I really want to see that before any kind of Aghanim shot on Hustler. I feel like it's just so important to be able to kite out these heroes super early on into a lot of these team fights, whether it be saving someone from a hook shot cogs into Light Strike array or whatever it is, the follow-up after that, or just being able to set up your own heroes as well to be able to get in on top of them and actually get the key spells off in the start of these team fights.
Yeah, another thing to mention is the fact that MG.Trust now has this Lotus Orb as well. So this is going to be a big involvement here in the fights at Fiend's Group, Doom, DK stun as well. This could just give a little bit more survivability to some of the key cores here from Motivate. So let's see if the fingers are fast enough for MG.Trust. I mean, it's going to come down to how we can start these fights. I think either team has really solid initiation, but vision's always that X factor.
I think they're also very conscious of the Roche timings. Still a minimum of 35 seconds until the next one could look to come up. So they're still playing defensively. Set Zero positioning himself, realizing that Neon, they've probably got that in mind as well of, okay, we can't let this Ursa get the second Roche, so let's try and get him. Where is an Ursa wanting to farm at this stage of the game based on the towers that we've gotten and our vision? He's in the triangle. So good positioning there by Set Zero. Underneath the Observer Ward, it would catch out any kind of smoke attempt before they got there, and he's got the Blink Dagger to be able to get away. So will we see perhaps a counter smoke come out after this lane gets pushed in a little bit here?
Q might be in a position to pop the smoke.
High ground
that he will. Does he hook shot away or does he want to go in? Mamang Daya will lead the charge. Now just blow up the clockwork. Everyone else has to disengage. You've stuck around for a little bit too long. The Doom doesn't find the angle, and Ryu as well. A little bit too late to swing on forward. Mamang Daya will have an opportunity to blink in a couple of seconds. So Motivate still got to be cautious. They're sticking around. And they're going to be punished. A jump on top of the Pangolier. Phil's going to try and stick around. Arena drop it instantly off to the outskirts of Fiend's Grip. There's no cancel. Set Zero has to get nearby. Feels the BKB about to expire. Mamang Daya trying to find a window in, but they won't have the blink to follow up. And now they have to collapse away from the T2 tower. Jackie straight on top of the Mars. Mamang Daya, a complete waste of the BKB. Can blink out to safety the last second. This
Trying
could
to
be
bait him
dire
in.
now, continuing forward. Keep in mind, Palace has still got the Doom, looks to jump. Straight on top of Jackie, he needs more assistance. Jackie is going to get nothing. Burnt down to a crisp, but on top of the high ground, it's the rest of Motivate that are able to deal with him being dire. It's still a 3-on-2 without the Lina nearby. She went back to base to try and heal back up. She's trying to find an avenue in, but from bot to top, she won't make it. So Palace drops the Doom, gets the Ursa.
Won't she?
They're still
She's pretty
charging on
speedy.
forward. That she is. Hookshot still down. T1 tower for the TP location.
Nice nightmare.
Instantly taken care of thanks to the Lotus Orb. That should be all she wrote.
Yeah, got rid of the Fiery Soul was running very low on duration, so just giving him that extra couple of seconds that he needed to be able to get away. All of that busted movement speed coming through from the Boots of Travel, plus the Fiery Soul, enabling the escape there from Palace. But I like the fact that they were trying to bait them up onto the high ground. They had the Soulbind, they had the double Doom available, but Palace, he couldn't miss the opportunity to be able to Doom Jackie in a vulnerable spot. You know, again, if that team fight went amazingly for Motivate, or even if it was an even trade and Ursa still lives, there was always that Roche potential. So we wanted to make sure that he took that completely out as an option. At the end of the day, it was still going to be Roche
I love
with
this.
a relatively long respawn. Yeah,
Love
this
this
is what they need to
smoke.
do.
You know the
Come on.
ultimate's on cooldown. A huge position you're in to take a fight.
Yep.
Is Enryu the target? He's the only one showing at the moment. Oh, they missed the hook, but still, Setsura can jump along with Jackie. The Bulwark should be no protection simultaneously. They get rid of the Bane. Exactly how you want to try and take the map, and this should lead them into second Roche now, and it's up in 5 seconds. There should be no contention.
Yep, nearly maximum timing on it as well.
No, stay in.
They'll stay. It was a really long Roche respawn timer, so they know that it's about to come up here. It's just looking to jump in, make sure you get that disarm off. It should be a very easy Roche attempt coming through with no Doom still available, and a long death timer through for your Mars. And Henry, he's having a pretty good game up until that point, but just a tiny bit slow on the fingers there. Could have definitely looked to maybe either get his BKB off or try and stutter step to be able to avoid the chain lockdown.
It really feels like now it's all Dire's game, with having the Aghanim Shard on the Ursa and the Aegis as well. Like, this is always a huge timing we highlight consistently when the Ursa is, you know, on a lineup. What can we see now Neon do through the next time? Like, what's kind of their condition to go up against the Aegis and take a successful team fight?
It's so hard, right? Like, you want to be playing away from the Ursa as much as possible. You just want to ignore him, make it that he's never really a presence. So if there's ever a period where Jackie shows on the map and someone else is elsewhere, you got to be going on the someone else, because there's not too many easy towers for Jackie to TP to join in with the rest of his team. It's not like he's got the Boots of Travel or anything like that. And yeah, I mean, that's the key thing, because right now, Motivate, they've got plenty of ways to be able to have multiple layers of engagement. Like, Q is going to be the initial engage coming through here, or Set Zero. It could be either of the supports that looks to put their body on the line, so that then Masaros can look to follow up, because now, given all of those teamfight victories that they've had and the Roche, he was able to complete the Blink Dagger. So, you know, as long as you get that initial lockdown onto the likes of a Bane, Masaros is now enabled heavily into these team fights. So Motivate, with that, plus the Aegis, they're in a really favorable position.
Yeah, it really feels like you just got to deal with the supports. The leash gets rid of this combination through potential Fiend's Grip, potential double Doom. And not only just that, like, you really draft this hero with the factor of trying to deal with the Pangoli. But he also kites the Ursa. Lean is someone who's really reliant on his positioning. And you just take a look at Motivate's lineup. Like, it's much easier for them to start fights. You've got 4 heroes that can start fights, whereas Radiant, I mean, I think this is Blink now coming out from Enryu, so it makes it a little bit more easier. I mean, they got 3 heroes, which is 1 less, but
I still like that move from Neon, though, to be able to trade the tier 2 towers. You know, at least they get something. They take away a little bit of the map control that Motivate had on their side of the map, but it's not like they really care. You know, Motivate, they want to play around Neon's side of the map. They want to continue pushing forward. They've got their key timings just yet. Maybe feeling a little anxious about not having the BKB on Ursa, but other than that, there's really nothing that they're afraid of.
Is Jackie queuing it? Okay, yeah, he does have it up. Oh, this should
the
reveal the
lucky
Observer
bursted
Ward.
bash.
Yeah, they ping it out instantly. But with that pick off, they might be able to get another tier 2 tower. Radiant have Glyph if need be. Enry is even just going to cut mid, so this could just stem the push as soon as it started.
I mean, are they going to Glyph just for a single siege creep? Yep, there they are.
Well, some creeps still made it
Might
through.
be a little early, actually.
Yeah, so they're going to come back now.
Well, they eventually
And Ryu's
get it.
gonna jump. They'll try and deal with Mass.Trust, but as soon as he
BKB.
leaves, so by now instantly, Palace is trying to jump the backline, deal with the pain clear, but that's a BKB wasted from Palace, and he hasn't found a Doom target. Mass.Trust has had enough opportunity for the ultimate off, and they're just gonna
Great
turn
one
their
by
attention
Q.
to the Doom. Beautiful recognition. Get rid of the Doom, get rid of the big ultimate to turn this fight back in their favor. As Mass.Trust, he'll just sacrifice his life. He's more than happy with what his involvement has been so far. Setsuru, a bit of a peculiar position for the Lion, but it's not gonna matter, as now Motivate overwhelm them on the higher ground. They're going to be cautious about some buybacks. One's come out from the Bane, another one will fly in from the Grimstroke as well. They still have this potential of going incredibly deep, which could cost them. Q's already hookshot in. I mean, it's down for another 10 seconds. Jackie's even going to blink aggressively as well. That's a dieback on the Bane. Number main die is going to be cautious too. He's on the outskirts of the base. There's no assistance. He's gone. Another key death as Jackie's looking to hunt for the second support. He won't find him, but the objectives, they will be found.
He's got to be careful. Jackie's crazy enough to just jump in and continue going. He'll eventually look
man.
to back off, but that, with all the kills that he was able to pick up, BKB and change obtained as a result of that team fight. So, again, really nice just taking advantage of the heroes that they're able to pick off. It was another great hook shot by Q to make sure that there was no Doom that went off in that team fight. Just the chain lockdown that you need, and it's a couple of times
Jackie?
now that UK's been out of position.
Oh, another dieback. Versus a fun hero to versus a support.
I mean, just don't be out of position, you know?
XD.
At least it's not a Slark. You know, Slark, when he's snowballing, is just insane
Any
to try
assassin.
and deal with. Well, the thing is as well, these Neon supports, they specifically did not go 4-star first item. If I saw this draft on Motivate, I would not be going an Aether. I would be going 4-star first item every single time, just to be able to protect myself from Ursa and Clockwork.
So what do you feel like the thought process is with the Aethelins then? Is it just to, like, is it the best of both worlds? Play the outskirts away from the Ursa before Blink and provide the kind of disable against the Pango in these fights?
Yeah, I mean, they want to obviously have the range to be able to deal with Pangolier, just for both the Grimstroke and the Bane, right? You want to get the Soulbind and the Fiend's Grip off onto him, but I feel like you should probably only have one hero that's looking to do that. Maybe just have Grimstroke with the Aether Lens, just because he's such a good user of, you know, all of his abilities to be able to have that Phantom's Embrace to connect in onto the backlines as well. Can be very effective, but yeah, I think you definitely need one 4-star by this stage of the game.
I got still 2 towers standing up top from Radiant. Looks like Neon are actually getting set up pretty early. That Observer's going to see UK and I believe DK as well getting under the tower. Very split up at the moment. Jack is going to look to start an early use of the BKB along with Main Dyer. He's got no assistance so far. Main Dyer actually wanted to TP out, but they're going to be cautious on top of the backline. Doom solely used on the Ursa, but they've been able to at least counter out Mass.Trust's impact as well. So finally Neon able to bring back this game. 2 pickoffs. They might find Q as well. The main guy, a jump in. Phil still standing hand in hand. I mean, Alina's got plenty of damage with the help of the Lion. Finger of Death along with Laguna. The 1-2 combo from the sisters and now Ryu. He can still armor toggle to safety. Palace is so goddamn beefy as well. We'll see if Phyllis's damage is going to be enough to go through him, and Ryu trying to provide some assistance. He might have just sacrificed his life, however, Phyllis still trying to play on the outskirts as Ryu moonwalking back at the get killed. Oh my god, his full health! Ryu, so much healing thanks to the Aghanim shard and Neon. Man, what a fight to turn it back around. They're actually going to make it a team wipe. Ryu's done so much for them in this team fight.
I'd say Hustler's done so much for them in this team fight. Just the multiple good positionings, making sure he's able to get off Inkswell after Inkswell after Inkswell. The healing coming through. Honestly, Mamang Dyer shouldn't have even died previously. He had a full magic wand charge up, and he just needed to survive one more right click through from the Lina. But if the end result is that you're able to turn around in that fashion and give Enryu all of that farm, you're more than happy. They're even going to chain it onto Masseros.
Yeah, love a good old chain feed by Masseros.
Remember, this means a lot more to Neon than it does to Motivate right now. Motivate have secured their upper bracket slot. Neon really need this to give themselves even the smallest opportunity to have it.
Yeah, I'd agree. I do think Motivate would love first seed as well, though. I think that's the only thing they're fighting for. But you're right.
Can they even get it?
They should be able to. I mean, they're 11...
They need to win every single game. Because they lost 2-0 to Boom, so they would need to win every single game.
Yes. So I mean, if you're right though, I mean it's a lot more important here for Neon, upper bracket compared to lower bracket. Motivate, still first stage, you love that, but you're right, they've got to win all 4 matches today, and Neon at least need to force a tie to have some hope. We don't even know what comes down to after that.
They've got some really good burst potential now on Neon's side, though. Like, Enryu is basically almost the position 1 on their lineup right now. He's got a Desolator, he's going into the Satanic, he's got that Brigand's Blade just for all of the extra damage and attack speed. Not too often you think of Mars as, like, someone that actually right-clicks people. It's often just all through his abilities. Oh, have to be careful.
Gonna pop this. Just let the Clockwork die. Oh, maybe not let the Clockwork die. MG.Trust and Fearless are both coming over. They've also caught out another support as UK. Great setup once again for the Nightmare. Double pick off on the support, so instantly Motivate recognize they just need to get the lane shoved out.
They're just losing a lot of their formation here. Masteros not going to continue to commit with UK looking to try and TP back, maybe catch him out if he push one more wave, but yeah, it feels like they're kind of losing it a little bit here on Motivate's side. They don't have a glyph as well, so this big black dragon is going to continue pushing through, take the tier 2 tower, and especially around this time where Roche is up, pretty significant for Neon. You've got no tier 2 towers to TP2 in the mid and top lanes. You've lost control of the outpost, and Neon are in a pretty good spot with 2 heroes dead. Tiny bit of duration left on the dragon, but you'll at least be able to get a few of those debuffs in onto him. I kind of want to see Enryu pick up this Axe here. Like, it's not great on Hustler. This game in particular.
Yeah, it's definitely not the greatest Dark Portrait game. I'm trying to think if Dire can even come contest this.
Give me the Enryu Axe, come on.
I mean, do you need the break from Palos? They're coming.
Oh,
Jackie, Aegis, Enryu's actually able to find it. Palos also gets the items as well, so first life taken care of. Palos needs to find an opening for the Doom before he gets brought too low. Bashes out, he needs some assistance, hasn't found anything just yet. Moving Dire, standing hand in hand, Setzero's gonna follow up as well with the bash once again. Jackie's luckiness here, it's on point, but they've been able to kill off Fearless, so there's no leaner for the team fight. And then we're main Dire and Enryu, you are hoping for the Mars to bring them back in this, and that's what he's gonna do exactly. A triple for Enryu, they're hunting down Pango as well. MG.Trust has got the swatch up in a couple seconds, simultaneously Q off the outskirts of the fight. It's gonna look for a solo kill on UK. I mean, it'll cost him his life. We'll see if he's happy with that. He doesn't have a buyback. Maybe it'll just give them an opportunity. So what'd we get? Blessing
Yes. Yes, drop it in base. Don't use it, Doom. Give it over to the Mars. Come on, let me see the boys. Hello?
Enryu?
Pick it up, bro.
Is it on the corridor?
Nope, it's just on the ground in base.
Oh, who would have thought it'd be Radiant? The first one's cracking the higher ground. Still got a little bit of the Elder Dragon form, not too long left, but with the help of the Deso, can siege relatively well here.
But what if you had all of the boys hitting the racks with the Aghanim Scepter?
They hit objectives?
Yep.
Oh boy.
That's why I want it. UK got it. What?
Wait. Oh. 45-second reduction's kind of crazy.
It is, yeah, for sure. And also just, like, not as easy to be able to interrupt him. Come on, what about the memes, though, you know?
I don't think I've seen the Ag Scepter in play. I know... Who's VP's for?
On who?
On Bane. Who's...
Save?
Yeah, Save. He liked it a lot in TI, from what I saw, but I didn't get to see it, unfortunately. So I'm still not really sure of how good it is.
It's alright. Like, they lack a lot of instant lockdown here, and I feel like they'll be using it on... Oh.
Rainbow TP to the outpost. MG.Trust gonna play away from the team, so they waste the soul bind. They've done just that. They've broken the formation from Neon. 2 deaths on the supports. The rest of the cores need to be cautious. Q goes for the overclocking. He's found the window straight on top of Enryu. The Cogs push back if they can get rid of the Mars instantly. That's a key component for the team fight. Jackie finds the first press. They turn. Palos is gone. He doesn't get any ultimates off to the team fight. Now Enryu, just a whimsy ulti before he dies, and Motivate all of a sudden back in this game. A big black dragon. It's unable to hide in the trees.
He's too big.
DPR.
Ooh, he gets out.
Dire's
That's
middle
two
tower
heroes
is
no
under attack.
buyback. They got a
With two
catapult
siege
wave
creeps.
too. Okay, they got
Yeah.
glyph at least.
Radiant
Yeah,
structures
I
are
feel like it's gonna do all that much,
Uh,
unfortunately.
Masteros? Okay, he's got Aeon Disc. But it's chilling.
Dire's
No
middle
threat at all.
tower is under attack.
Maybe they're just baiting for stuff. What's going on right now? A bit of pinata back and forth. Ursa's not an easy man to kill. They do have Fiend's Grip. Someone needs to cancel this.
Tower has fallen.
At least Jackie, thanks to the help of the status resistance, is still getting brought pretty low. This goddamn slows from the Elder Dragon form, but it's about to expire still. Lotus Orb, Blinkins, everything to try and keep the bear alive. They'll be able to do so. Now with the breakout, they'll look to turn, or will they? Fearless, a bit cautious of how long they want to stick around. They're worried about the buyback potential.
I
Masteros will
think
give
if they
them
would have brought back,
space.
they would have done it now.
DK still getting control without the break opportunity. Finger of Death still on cooldown. Overclocking, beautiful use of the chain control. Down goes the DK. Jackie's just going to BKB TP out. They've sounded the horns, get the retreat working. Or maybe they haven't. Maybe back in they want to go. Palace's respawn. Enryu's back up in a couple of seconds too. Phyllis will cancel the TP. The Palace has no detection.
He did end up going the Shivas, though. I like the build, particularly against a lot of this burst damage that's going to be looking to come through from the Ursa and the Lina. But yeah, they've given up that huge advantage that they had, and it's just cut off the back of a couple of great hook shots from Q. You know, the initial one catching them out next to the outpost, and then the overclock able to get in on top of the Mars and chain stun him down. So, and Q again coming in clutch for Motivate.Trust, being able to be that, I don't want to say the sacrifice, but you know, he's hooking in blind a lot of these times, and he's connecting every single time.
Oh, you were saying he was kind of the X factor for Motivate, that they play really well around Q. You know, whether it be, you know, his Monkey King like we saw in game 1, you know, we saw his Dawnbreaker have incredible success through last Pro Series, and he's always been just this stable rock for Motivate, and he's had quite the exceptional performance to be able to bring them back in. And my oh my, Doom's had to go for a 4-staff just to give him some way to play Dota.
Yeah. They got 3 4-staffs now. 39 minutes in, they finally think, oh, you know what? This is what we actually need to try and kite these out, especially now that these BKBs are getting low on Motivate's lineup. You know, the Lina, the Ursa, they're both at 6 seconds. So if a 4-staff's able to give you that extra 2 seconds that you need to potentially have that turnaround potential, you'll take it. Because Hustler's been very good with his ink swell. So the more that you can maximize that, the better.
Gold and sweet.
Even got a Heaven's Halberd picked up on Q's Clockwork, so I mean that's going to be a way to maybe try and turn a little bit back in your team's favor. I'm assuming he's going to look to use the disarm onto the Dragon Knight. He's very good at being able to get through a lot of the to slow people down with the Elder Dragon form, the Frostbeth. 40% slow, of course. Actually, I think that might be a bug. So hover over the Elder Dragon form button. I believe that should be the 60% that's highlighted because he's got the Ags.
It should be, yeah. I think. I know there's some weird bugs with the.
I'm sure it should be.
Yeah.
Like the 4th one is when you've got the Ags. There used to be a 4th cooldown as well. The only ultimate that has it.
He's got an A on this. This is a hard way to start the fight.
He's also got a
CQ's
tome
positioning.
waiting to come out to him. We're nearly at level 25 as well. Magdire just
Oh, they're gonna
scaling the
see
cliffs.
Q. Oh, they don't get the hook shot to start. At least
That
Masteros
Zero's
has an
gonna die.
opportunity, but what an arena in the choke point locks in both the supports. Jackie's going to try and find an angle in, but he's got to be cautious now with the leash, combining them both together with the Lion.
They got
Meanwhile, on the
Fearless.
back line as well. Palace, a beautiful jump to deal with Lina. The great target with the Doom. Now Jackie is on an island, has no assistance at all. He's going to try and look to do his best with the man fight. Second Doom out. And now Lina's out to the... I mean, he's brought back here, but Masteros is in trouble. It's like no escape. I mean, that was quite the Doom target, though, from Palace. Straight on top of Fearless, just getting rid of the Lina. What an arena in a choke point like that.
Can you look at the fight recap quickly before it disappears?
Yep.
Is it up on the screen?
Yeah, I got it.
Have a look in items used on the Radiant side. What is
4
different
stars.
about that?
4
3
stars,
4
dope.
stars. Every single person. All right, well, they kill Henry.
I blame you. Fearless is gonna get out of dodge.
Hey, he bought back for this. UK's going for it using the 4-star.
Okay, they don't have fiends. Should be okay. Henry bought back too.
Is under attack.
I mean, don't hate it. Roche is 2.5 minutes away. All right.
I don't have Glyph as well, and should be able to get a set. You don't really want to buy back on anyone else. I feel like you just give this up. I can't get Megas off the back. Just gotta make sure that Fearless doesn't die.
And I really want to see him have Ags. It's not even a meme anymore. Just to be able to have that bulwark up and soak up a lot of the damage that Lina might be looking to pump into your face. Like, why wouldn't you want it? You know, you protect the backline so effectively.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
And for some reason, he's bought 6
Couple
mangoes.
mangoes?
Maybe they were on clearance.
Just a discount. You reckon there should be items on discount in Dota?
Like a seasonal sort of thing.
Yeah, you just, I mean, I don't know how you do it. You pick up a, like, COD Zombies fire sale. Just have,
I feel like it should be exclusive to fruit, you know? Like, we need more fruit things, not just mango. I know Ice Frog's a little biased because it's his favorite fruit, but...
Let's see what they can do. Keep in mind,
bottom side of the river as well. That's something that you need to consider.
you got to protect Fearless. He bought back previously. He was the target of the Doom. I imagine it's going to be the same target this team fight. Palace has Refresher completed as well, so double Doom opportunity.
Masteros
They're
is
on the
going to
low
be the
ground.
one
That's
leading
not the
a lot
spot
of
you want to
these.
be in. Jackie's just going to look to jump, try and bring down the Bane. He's got to buy back. Will rejoin. Another solid arena from Enryu, but they've been able to catch up and main die. All eyes on Palace though. First Doom used. Ursa now controlled. Leashed up once again with the clockwork. They haven't been able to find Fearless though. In sleeves, Fearless shows Palace. Pops a refresher. Gets rid of the Lincolns. Yes, they reflect the Doom, but it's not going to matter. You found the big ultimate. You've cancelled out Fearless from the team fight. That's a dieback. Ursa's got to join the Reap fight as well. Q's out to safety. Mamang dies. Not going to look to give him an opportunity. Blink up in a couple of seconds. And down
Albert?
goes the clockwork.
Nah. Oh.
And that's a dieback on, I believe, Clock and Fearless. And whoa!
See you, Sub-Zero.
That should just be game. 2v5. I don't know how you're going to do it. A hope and a prayer. You don't have Dooms. You don't have ultis. Jackie's going to try and stand his ground. BKB still up and available. Master's just leaving him. I've had enough. We were saying Neon had to take a game, and that they will.
Yeah, they're going to call that GG. I was kind of expecting Masteros to be the one playing a little bit more selflessly in that. He was the only one on his team that had buyback available. And he also has the Aeon disc, but instead, you know, despite a good pickoff initially onto the Bane, it was a rare lack of communication coming through from Motivate there. Even just Ursa and Clockwork, Jackie and Q, they were leashed up together and they were running in different directions. So, of course, Jackie, he's an Ursa. He needs to hit to do damage and also to get some of that lifesteal coming back, but just wasn't there. And yeah, a few key mistakes heavily punished there by Neon. I mean, the Clockwork kind of felt like a stopgap measure to address the fact that they didn't have that backline closing factor in their draft. And, well, eventually, even though I thought Q played a pretty damn good game, it just wasn't enough. Too many times these heroes were caught off on their own. Hard to split between Hustler and Enryu. I thought both of those guys played fantastically.
Yeah, I think also just a recognition of the priority and the heroes we have to kill in those fights as well. Palos was holding that second Doom through a lot of that last fight. Was just waiting for Fearless to show. As soon as he gets Vision of the Lina, refresh up, blink, pops at Lincolns, gets the Doom out. Even though they itemize into Lincolns, I mean, this is kind of why we don't really see the item. People are trying to experiment. They're trying to see if the item is shit or good. Like, it's been cut for a very long time. It's getting buffed slowly and slowly. You have so many ways to pop it. There's a real big reason why we don't see it, even though Doom can heavily deal with it, everyone else. And I think just Neon, they kind of have something with this Doom position 1. They've played it, very well multiple times now. There was a couple of key mistakes, but for them to be able to recover, find a way to take these fights is really impressive.
I've rethought it. MVP is 4 staff for this game. I feel like whenever they were able to get them off, it just gave them, again, just all it takes is a couple of seconds, especially once BKBs are only 6 seconds, right? And then you suddenly get off another Inkswell. You've got all of that healing back. You've already got a Satanic up on someone like Enryu. You're able to get in position to maybe get another Shiva's Guard off. You get your Blink Dagger away. You know, you're not getting chain bashed by the Ursa. It's just crazy the amount of utility this one item provides, and wisely enough for Palace, even the position 1 ended up buying it in the end of the game because, you know, that's just how good it was in this game in particular.
Yeah, exactly. I think it just shows the importance of the 4 staff. And you were saying that one fight, like take a look at the fight recap. 4 staffs, that was the X factor. That was what they needed. Motivate a very like heavy committal. If you can force out of a chain control on the Pango, force out of Abyssal Blade, Katios's BKB, Fearless as well as vulnerable, because Neon, they've got a lot of heroes to jump, and when they're on cooldown, you can stay on top of those heroes. So I think just I'm still convinced that team fight reigns supreme. I mean, I felt like Motivate, I thought they had a lineup that was probably going to do a little bit better as the game goes on, but Neon, their team fight, we continue to see lineups and rosters that have this wombo combo, and sometimes it can be difficult to execute, but it just feels like heading to the later stages, we always see team fights. You have to win a late game Dota off the back of team fight, and when you've got a plethora of abilities to use, it feels like you're more than likely going to be favored. But this was an important match for Neon. It still gives them hope to make it into the upper bracket. I think their hands are just now with Nigma Galaxy, who...
Yes, so they're 9 and 7 now, I believe. Neon. So Nigma Galaxy are 8 and 6. So essentially what Neon are hoping for is for Nigma Galaxy to get 2-0'd by Motivate. That would avoid any kind of tiebreaker scenario that would automatically put them through to the upper bracket. I believe if they 1-1 each other, then we would need to do a tiebreaker.
I think Nigma actually go through, at least from what Liquipedia is saying. Yeah, Liquipedia is saying first is head to head. Then I can't pronounce the other word, something score. I don't know.
Where's this?
Go up to the top format. There should be under the group stage. Click here for tiebreaker rules. You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a bit of a breakdown.
Neustadel.
Yeah, sure. I didn't want to butcher it. You can butcher it. So, Nigma Galaxy, they 2-0'd Neon in the group stages. So, all they have to do off what Liquipedia is saying, they have to 1-1 Motivate, and they should make it through. How about just 2-0, make it through, be done with the day, and feel confident with the momentum heading into the playoffs. So with that being said, we got our last match for the groups coming up shortly. It's nice to end on a series that is important as well to determine the playoff berth, whether it's the upper bracket or the lower brackets. Next up, Motivate up against Nigma Galaxy. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be a cracker to close out the groups.